Hello, in this video we are going to discuss a proof to do with the bending of light as it passes through glass. We are going to discuss the proof that D, the angle D, is equal to I1 plus I2 minus A. This question has turned up in previous exams, so it is something you should understand, this proof, because you might be asked about this sort of question in the future. So we have some light here, this red light for example, and when it reaches here, this boundary between air and glass, so this triangle here represents a triangle of glass, you see the light, it bends like this, and then it bends again. So you might remember that the word for bend, the technical word, is refract. So the light refracts, and you can see these angles here. So this is I1, this I1 here, this is R1, R2, I2, and D, the angle D. And QUR, Q represents this point here, U represents this point here, and R represents this point here. So the question is, the proof we want to discuss is, we want to see how to prove that D, the angle D, is equal to I1 plus I2 minus A. So to start off, A is just R1 plus R2. This is something you're given. So the first thing to note is that angle D plus angle QUR, so angle QUR is just this angle here. That's angle QUR. Both of those, if we add those angles, we get 180 degrees, because this is a straight line here. So that's why if you add those angles, you get 180 degrees. And also, we know that if we add these three angles, we will get 180 degrees as well. Why is that? That's because these three angles, angle UQR, so that's that angle, angle QRU, that's this angle, and angle QUR, that's this angle. Notice they are the angles inside this triangle here. Okay, and we know the angles inside a triangle add up to give 180 degrees. So from these two lines here, we can see that it must be true that angle D is equal to angle UQR plus angle QRU. Look at these two things here, right? You can see that D must equal this angle plus this angle here. And angle UQR, well, let's draw that in. That's this angle here. That's angle UQR. Now, why are we saying that this is I1 minus R1? Well, that's because this angle here, that's the same as I1. Okay, so this whole angle here is just equal to I1. And if that whole angle there is equal to I1, and this is R1 here, then this angle here must be I1 minus R1. And that's what we're saying, that's all we're saying here. And similarly, angle QRU is equal to I2 minus R2 for the same sort of reason. Okay, so angle QRU, that's this angle, right? We're saying that this angle here is equal to I2 minus R2. Again, because this time this whole angle here is I2, meaning this angle here, because that's R2 there, that angle there must be I2 minus R2. So if we put those together, if we just replace these with I1 minus R1 and I2 minus R2, we get that D is equal to I1 plus I2 minus R1 minus R2. But this is just the same as D is equal to I1 plus I2 minus A. Remember, A, as we set up here, you are told that A is equal to R1 plus R2. That's what we mean by A. Okay, so you see here we've proved this statement that D is equal to I1 plus I2 minus A. Hope you found this useful.